Howdy, howdy. Welcome to another episode of We Talk Sports. Joining me today, of course, is my co host, Owen Fleming, as well as Chats with Cats host, Alexander Hoffman. And I'm the host, of course, Dom Ziani. It's been a while since we talked about sports here, ain't it, fellas?
Oh, yeah, it's been a minute.
So, we got a lot to talk about, a lot of basketball to talk about. I know you're excited, Alex. NBA playoffs are literally this week with the playing games. So I'm looking forward to that, as well as just a bunch of other kind of different postseason stuff. I know NHL is also coming. That's like I think this upcoming weekend, so I'm looking forward to watching some of those games. But today's episode will be primarily talking about basketball and some of the stuff we didn't get to. Final Four for both men's and women's, as well as the national championship games. So let's get on to that. And Alex, what do you have for us?
Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and start with the men's bracket, which was, again, we talked about it last time. It was pretty boring overall this year compared to what we've seen in March Madness and what I call April absurdity.
More like March calmness.
Yeah, literally. It was March monotony.
Oh my god.
We'd just do that for the whole show.
No,
but I don't know. I mean, we saw what I wanted. Once UConn got knocked, I was like, well, it's got to be Florida then from then on. And I got 99.9% on my bracket.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the Gators, they really started to kick it up. You know,
Yeah,
I didn't
the
have that
comeback
much
Gators.
faith in them at the start of the tournament, but they really turned it around and proved me wrong.
I don't know. Houston was getting close. I mean, that was the closest it's been in terms of, like, I know the Gators just came back at the end, but like Houston, I mean, they had the opportunity and choked it.
really,
Yeah.
it was that one pump fake at the very end that Houston just messed the entire thing up because Houston could have won right there. They had the opportunity.
Oh, they did, and it was heartbreaking for a person that thought this was the year for the Cougars to finally claim that national championship that they've been looking forward since even when Hakeem was playing for them.
That
But-
poor old man coach.
I
I kind
know.
of felt bad for him just getting discouraged on the sidelines compared to this young Florida Gator. He has all the time in the world to win a championship.
That's true. That's fair enough. I don't know. I think the comeback ability of Walter Clayton Jr. is just something that no team has been able to match clearly because they just kept winning.
And he didn't have that great of a game to start
No,
out.
he
but
didn't.
No.
He really
I think it was
turned
more like the team, like as a whole, Florida more than even Clayton Jr. I thought he was kind of just he was not great that game, and he had some good plays at the end, but I thought it was mainly just Florida themselves getting themselves back in there, as well as Houston making a lot of careless mistakes. That was a sloppy game, like turnovers and everything. Like the fact that Houston didn't just blow out Florida is kind of in awe of me. I mean, I was just more like Houston had the opportunity to just take this game away, but they kept on also making turnovers, and ultimately Florida stopped turning over the ball as much, and Houston made mistakes.
And I mean, a team that beat Duke and Cooper Flag, who most people assumed were going to win the whole thing, and then Cooper Flag doesn't even get to play in the championship game. And a lot of people now are still talking about whether he's even going to declare for the draft.
That's
He
what I was
probably
thinking,
will.
too.
He probably will.
I
don't
the
think
number
he-
one
yeah.
prospect.
He's
No,
number one
you're not gonna
prospect,
turn
but
down that money.
I honestly think that he could also stay for another year and still be seen as the number one prospect the
He
following year.
could still be seen as the number one prospect, but the faster you get to the NBA, the faster you get your maximum contract extension.
Yeah, but
So if he wants $50 million like per year as soon as possible, I don't think he's gonna stay.
I guess it depends on what he's doing it for, you know.
Yeah.
It-
If he's purely a financial need, or if he wants to stay a little, maybe.
I think for like his NBA like kind of career and like him being ready since day one, I think it would be maybe better to stay.
no,
for another year.
he's fine.
I don't
He's
know.
fine.
I don't know. I've seen a lot. I don't know. When they go from college to the NBA, it's like, I don't know. They kind of.
But look at who went number one last year. It was a player on the
Okay, but that
Atlanta
was a
Hawks
weak,
who-
weak draft. Let's be honest. Last year was like a weak. There was no clear number one guy, like say a Victor Wembanyama
Yeah.
or a Zion Williamson. So, I don't know. I just think it's more pro readiness. But if he goes in, I think he'll still be a franchise-altering player, and is probably the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. So,
I'd say so for sure.
but yeah. So I
mean,
guess
I do think it's important. Like he was a freshman, basically. Like it's really tough for a freshman to be relied on to be the guy, especially in a March Madness run when there are a lot of players who have years of experience on other rosters and they know how to exploit a freshman's maybe bad tendencies or maybe he has a bad habit. They're able to exploit that. So it's really tough. I think the last freshman who really took his team all the way was probably maybe Carmelo Anthony back in the early 2000s. It's just a really hard position to be in.
he
I
wasn't.
think.
Well, he was in that stacked 2003 draft.
Cooper needed maybe a little more support than just himself in order to get them all the way.
Yeah, there was him, and there was one other guy, and now his name escapes me, of course, as soon as I want to say it. But it was another one of the Kneppels. Yeah. He was the other guy. It was the two of them, and then they were facing whole teams, and that was kind of the problem near the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Switching over to women's, I know Alex is pretty pumped about his
UConn.
Huskies claiming, what is it, their 20th title or whatever?
24th.
24th title.
No, it's their 24th Final Four.
Okay.
And their 12th championship, which is
still pretty impressive. I guess.
Yeah,
I guess it's impressive.
24 Final Four appearances, by the way, is more than any men's or women's team in history, which is just crazy. UConn is, for better or for worse for the men's side, they are a basketball dominant school. It doesn't show up as often in men's, but it's still there.
It used to be for a good while, too, especially those early 2010s Husky teams, but
then you look at the women's one, and they had
they've
a
been more
four-peat last
consistent.
year,
They had
or last decade.
Well, they had Gino for how many years?
He's been there a while.
25 years or something.
Yeah.
Shout out to WNBA #1 draft prospect
Paige
Becker.
Becker.
Probably
Into
drafted tonight.
Was it the Dallas Wings?
She also signed a 3-year
Did see
contract
that,
with Unrivaled.
Yeah.
So that'll be good.
That's a 3x3 league?
That's the off season.
Oh, okay. So it's a full league. It's
I
just
think
in
so,
the
yeah.
off-season. Okay.
But yeah, #1 pick. I'm not surprised at all with the games that she put up. We didn't get to talk about any of them.
Unfortunately.
She put up a 36-point
She was
game,
on
and then
tear,
a 40-point game, and then a 31-point game, and then she kind of slowed down and became the playmaker for those last two games because that's what they needed.
Still
they
pretty
needed
good stat line in that championship game.
Absolutely.
it was 16 and then 7-9 or something like that.
Yeah, and when you have the other playmakers you have on that
Sarah
team,
Strong,
sometimes it can help to take it back.
UConn's in really good hands going forward.
Yeah, Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd is staying, so UConn's probably just going to do the same thing again next year. Maybe not as easily, because if Juju comes back healthy at all next year, that'll be tough, but they're also still going to have to face UCLA's star players, which Lauren Betts, I think. Her sister is going to be playing too at UCLA, which will be an interesting dynamic. But yeah, this is the funniest thing. I actually so every year, since I got really into March Madness a couple years ago, I get a UConn player shirt, especially if they win. But the UConn women's hadn't even gotten close to winning. It was the round of 32 or Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And I bought a Paige Becker shirt because best player on the team, arguably AZ Fudd or her. But she had a really funny shirt that was the Husky from Hopkins had her number in 5 instead of the S. And I looked today because it was supposed to come today, and I ordered a youth small. Which is not what I wear.
Look, do you just put that on? You got a nice little crop top for the summer coming up. You hit the beach in that.
Yeah,
all the ladies are gonna be after that.
Oh my gosh, no, that's great. But yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting to watch the WNBA draft tonight. We also have Anissa Morrow and Kiki Iriafen. I don't know how to say her last name. Iriafen?
I can't remember either.
We'll find out. Maybe we'll say it right.
We'll hear it tonight from the commissioner.
I did see that the rookie contract she's getting is $300K to start out with, compared to the base NBA player making $1 million.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, which is a problem that needs to be fixed. This year, I don't know if we talked about this. This year was the first year that women's teams got paid for being in March Madness, Because men's teams have been getting paid since 1991.
Well, we talked about like the conditions that they used to have, like in our sports ethics class we have here. We talked about how like a few years ago they had that whole locker room fiasco.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Exercise room fiasco.
Mhm.
I think we have progressed since then. In terms
We
of
definitely
women's sports.
have.
But there's still a matter of the professional leagues and the pay there, which might take a little longer, but hopefully.
Yeah,
I also think it's a matter of attention and promotion of those sports, because when more people go to the games,
which is improving.
it is improving. This year was better than last year. For Western, I can't speak for everything. For some schools like UConn, obviously it's
Obviously,
going to
they're
be
gonna
sold
market
out.
that.
'Cause
Yeah.
Becker's Fudge,
Like South
Strong,
Carolina, I imagine is also going to do
USC,
it.
UCLA.
But also WNBA in general has increased thanks to these new players.
Players.
They're getting,
Speaking of, one last thing about the Final Four and the women's bracket, the UCLA and UConn game, electric, insane. I can't even. I just needed to say
Is it
how
on the same par as when Caitlin Clark was with Iowa?
yes, that game. Okay, bouncing the ball off of Paige's back is crazy. What a play.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you.
All right. Well, that's gonna be enough from him over here. We're gonna switch over to NBA, Alex's favorite sport. He's a big.
He knows all about.
What are you, like a Charlotte Hornets fan?
Lifelong.
Portland Trailblazers.
Trailblazers.
Oh.
Donovan Clingan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Castle on the Spurs.
Well, they've really.
Well, both of them have not made the playoffs, so we're not going to be talking about those guys. But
oh no.
We're going to be talking about the
LeBron James.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he made the
the coat, the
Of
king
course.
himself.
All right. Calm down.
But before we glaze, let's talk about your Miami Heat.
Oh
Owen.
boy. Okay.
And
yeah,
because they're playing this week.
They are playing this week against the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah,
Yes.
win or lose, they're going home if they don't win. So.
Well, yeah. That's the plan for you. I mean, we had a chance to get into a home play-in game if we had beaten the Bulls like a few days ago in the regular season, but we couldn't do that. But we can beat regular Pelicans teams. So
Hey, I know. Well,
the Heat have just been a bundle of mediocrity this year.
Well,
you
with
know, which is partially because, of course, we traded Jimmy Butler, who was our franchise star. But the bench players and most of the role players besides Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo just have not stepped up to the level we required. Traded a first-round pick for Terry Rozier a year ago. Now he's just become a terrible basketball player. He's so bad. He's gotten accused of throwing games for gambling purposes. I mean, it's tough right now. We're trying our best. Hopefully, honestly, I'll be okay with either outcome.
I mean,
if they win, they'll advance to the playoffs. If they lose, we'll get a lottery draft pick.
There you go.
Really, I'm fine with either outcome. So
You never know, that could be Cooper Flag.
I'm still going through the 5 stages of grief over Jimmy. So we'll see how the year closes out.
I am the complete opposite.
I know you are.
Of the 5 stages of grief. I am electric for the Lakers.
Lakers fans.
I don't know if what they'll do this year. I think they'll be a little farther. Hope is Western Conference Finals.
That'd be good.
But you know, a lot of this matchup against the Wolves. A lot of people are saying Wolves in 7. I don't believe them. It's gonna be Lakers in 5.
Oh, in 5.
In 5.
You don't even have a center.
We don't need one. We got Luka and LeBron James.
What about Rudy Gobert?
Luka,
playoff performer.
Remember last
Rudy
year?
Gobert.
Remember last year? It doesn't matter.
That was the joke.
I know that was the joke.
Yeah.
Luka
Yeah.
will cook Rudy Gobert all the way back to France.
Oh, all the way back.
Anthony
to
Edwards, respect him, great player, but we have Luka and LeBron James. Austin Reeves, third option. We'll have those debates. Lakers in 5. That's simple. Lakers in 5.
In 5 is crazy.
As the great Shannon Sharp once said, Lakers in 5.
Okay.
That's that. But let's talk about a better matchup.
Okay.
One that's more interesting.
Yeah.
Nuggets and Clippers.
Well, the Nuggets just fired their head coach. They just fired their general manager.
A lot of things are.
So the Nuggets seem to be in a bit of a disarrayed state right now.
And the Clippers are actually playing really well and are hot coming into this game.
But also, Nikola Jokic is probably a top 3 basketball player alive.
Well, right now. He might
Yeah.
be arguably the best.
Arguably top 1 in the NBA at least. He's pretty phenomenal. While he doesn't always have the cast around him to support him, if he gets motivated, I think the Nuggets probably take that series.
I think so too. It's just that with the Clippers, now it depends on if Kawhi can stay healthy
Of
for
course,
the
of
series, as well as James Harden not having those playoff woes that he always shows.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a battle. I'm going to say, ooh, I really would say Nuggets as well, but I'm going to say it's going to go to 7 games.
I think going to 7 is fair because the Nuggets have a similar problem to the Lakers, is where they don't have a lot of center depth. They
Yeah.
have Jokic, but then they have Dario Saric.
They don't have
who
like that
is
great
a
of
power
like,
forward, but they try to
defense.
play him at center. The roster just hasn't really been kept up to snuff since that finals championship,
I'm-
which is why they fired their GM, I would think.
That's the guy who I thought should be fired. If you're like, if the goal is winning a championship this year, I mean, firing your head coach is not going to do anything.
Yeah,
it
it's
should
a bit
start with
late.
the GM who kind of designs the roster rather than say, hey, let's fire the head coach before the
Although
playoffs.
I did see a rumor on Twitter, maybe Alex can weigh on to this, that Dan Hurley, UConn's coach, was thinking about taking a meeting with the Nuggets to discuss that position.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
So
did
if that
see
happens, that would be an interesting hire for
It would be
sure.
It would be an interesting hire, and it would probably be a little unfortunate for
Oh,
UConn.
no.
Because here's the
no.
thing. Here's the thing about UConn will find another good coach, obviously, but the problem is that like we're losing McNeely to the draft whenever the NBA draft happens.
Not until like July.
Why is it
Well,
so
It's
different?
yeah.
But we're losing Liam McNeely, who is our star freshman, our Cooper Flag, I guess. Not quite the same level, but he made that buzzer beater 3 that put us 3 behind instead of 6.
Well, you'll always
Chris
have
Paul.
Gino until he
Yeah.
retires, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think he's
Yeah.
ever gonna leave UConn. He loves that school.
He's going to die coaching on the court.
Oh yeah. I don't know. There was like this big like controversy at the Florida UConn game as Hurley walked off.
Oh, I saw
yeah, we
that.
talked about that in sports ethics as well.
Yeah, he's screaming obscenities about the ref, saying,
Don't
To a poor
believe
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
yeah.
"Yeah, I hope they don't mess with you like they
The
mess with us."
paraphrase,
Basically,
yeah.
Yeah, we
Yes.
can't be saying his words on
Yeah,
TV.
nope.
No, we cannot.
He shouldn't have been saying his words, but here we are.
No.
But I don't know. Maybe we find a coach with
That's
maybe
if he
a better
leaves.
That's if he leaves.
Yeah,
We'll see.
but-
Because he also interviewed with the Lakers last year. I
Yeah, and
believe,
that
True.
didn't,
against
which
Stephen
actually
Curry.
worked out perfectly.
It would have. Oh man, I really wish that he would have gone because
Yeah.
maybe we would have done better this year. But we probably wouldn't have
Whoa,
kept.
want
whoa! Are
Hurley
you?
gone.
Do you have your doubts about Hurley? Oh,
Who knows?
Silent.
I mean, I don't know. He took UConn to 2 straight.
I was
He
gonna
did. That
say-
feels like that's pretty good.
it's like with the Nuggets getting rid of.
And then we lost
Their head
we
coach.
lost Klingon and
Yeah.
Castle, and so
Yeah.
there was no shot of us taking it again.
Yeah.
So that's fair enough.
All right. Well,
Any other big rounds? this
I mean,
matchup?
a lot of like a lot of. I don't know. These is
The
kind of.
Mavericks have to win a game to avoid utter humiliation.
Oh my goodness.
They traded Luka. They have one play-in game, and if they lose that, they just look like the big. Well, they are already the biggest laughing stock of the league. But if they don't even make the playoffs, what
Thank
a
God for the Mavericks,
disaster.
because if so, we'd be probably talking about the Phoenix Suns and them firing.
Well, they just fired Mike
Budenholzer.
Budenholzer. This is like the 3rd coach they fired in a row.
I know it was a Frank. Was it Frank?
Frank
well,
Vogel
It
was
was
coaching.
Monty Williams.
Yeah, Monty Williams.
So that's 3 coaches.
Frank Vogel.
Yeah, because since KD got traded there, that's been 3 coaches. People
Who
talk
does
about.
their owner think he is? David Tepper of the Carolina Panthers?
Well, even then, Temper didn't fire that many head
Yeah.
coaches. He fired like 2.
Yeah, but if you include the soccer ones, it gets up to like 5.
Yeah, but that's like different. That's
Yeah.
not counting.
Yeah.
But man, the Suns are just.
I think we'll have some good games.
We'll have
see-
some good
we'll
games.
see.
I think the
And
play.
We'll
I
have
think.
a closer view of
I
the
think
real contenders.
Memphis, Golden State will be fun to watch.
I'm rooting for Memphis
I am
because we
too.
have the Warriors pick. So if they fall out of the lot or the play-in, that's our pick. So
That's good. Hey,
that
that
would
would
be
be
good. Go Memphis.
go Memphis.
Yeah.
Hey, go Grizzlies.
I'm so ready for college basketball to come back, guys.
You got
I'm the
some time
I'm the
to wait.
opposite. I'm so
afraid.
ready for.
Just till November.
I'm ready for college football and NFL. to
College
return.
football will be fun.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
We got a good game against Gardner Webb for the home opener
That's
here.
right. And we get ourselves
Coley.
a new college football video game too. 26.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Bring back
Cole
mascot. mode.
Gonzalez at Oklahoma.
Oh boy.
I can't wait to play as him. All right. Well, I think that is going to wrap up today's episode of We Talk Sports. Thank you, gentlemen, for once again joining me. And next time, we will be talking about, or actually be doing our NFL mock drafts with Jacob Pendergraph, who will return shortly. And then we'll have a very special guest that I will not disclose for our NFL draft recap, but that'll be in the future. And as always, go Cats.
Go Cats.
Goodbye, Catamounts.